Picture this. It's 2004, and you and some friends walk frantically into a Blockbuster video. You're trying to get your hands on a copy of the newest release that just came out, knowing that there are only a certain number of copies and nearly everybody in your school or town wants their hands on that copy. Now, you are either going to get it or you're going to be stuck with a second-rate video or maybe one that you've already seen. Now, all the while, Blockbuster thinks that this is a customer experience that you treasure and can't live without. Meanwhile, a company called Netflix is working to create an experience that you'd never seen before, you'd never experienced before, yet one that they're pretty confident you're going to like better, which is DVDs mailed directly to your home. Now, in the meantime, right, this not only are they delivering DVDs to your home, but they're working on a streaming service. Now, today I'm going to talk to you about how ProInsight is working to help you to not experience your Blockbuster moment, putting so much value and emphasis on maybe a client experience people don't care about quite as much as you think they do, but rather focusing on your high trust relationship coupled with data that will give you the insights as to what your clients actually want. Now, let's begin with this. The reality is Blockbuster overestimated what people actually cared about. Now, funny enough, I am actually friends with, or at least I was when I was in high school, the owner of Hollywood Video, who was a bit of a Blockbuster knockoff and was kind of chomping at the heels of Blockbuster. Now, both of these entities at the time were revolutionary. They had thousands of stores, and they believed that that was the future of videos. Now, I'll hand it to the owner of Hollywood Video. He made an attempt to actually turn Hollywood Video into more of a streaming service, but he was a little before his time. Internet speeds weren't quite to the level that they needed to be. Nevertheless, Blockbuster, they dug in their heels, continued to open up more stores, and did not recognize the fact that people would not always want to go to a video store in the future. Now, the big missed opportunity here by Blockbuster is that Netflix recognized that people maybe valued something differently, and they also used data to be able to decide what they believe customers actually wanted. And of course, the result is that Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010, while Netflix was just beginning to soar. So you might be asking, what does this have to do with me as a service professional? And I'll answer by saying this: everything. Point number 2 that I want to point out is what's called the Netflix edge. You see, Netflix didn't just listen to what customers said, because again, customers don't always know what they want if no one's ever showed it to them. But they began to observe their behaviors, and they began to gather data based on what clients were wanting even outside of the video industry. And what they realized is that people wanted convenience, and people had very specific shows that they wanted to not just watch once, but they wanted to binge watch. And at Blockbuster, frankly, that wasn't really an option. In fact, Blockbuster even made the mistake of kind of nickel and diming you for late fees and all the other things that made people start to resent these big chains and really primed the way for Netflix to step in and become the category king. Now, about the data that Netflix gathered, as I mentioned, they began to look at what consumer trends were outside of videos, but they also, through their DVD mailing business, they began to see what videos customers wanted. And they realized that they didn't want all the videos in the store. There was a very limited number of videos that people wanted. Therefore, they could really stock up on those particular videos and not have to store and warehouse all the other videos that were rarely ever rented. Meanwhile, this positioned them to really take advantage of what people actually wanted, which was streaming options, not trips to a store, hoping that their video was there, being disappointed when it wasn't, and or being frustrated with late fees because they didn't bring it back in time. Now, the secret sauce of all this is that there were algorithms that were predicting what you would be willing to binge watch before you even knew it. Again, this data predicted what customers wanted, and they were able to capitalize on that, giving the client what they wanted without the client even knowing that they wanted it. And the big lesson here is that their success came by blending consumer feedback together with insights they were gathering without the consumer even necessarily knowing that they were gathering them. Now, point number 3 that I want to make is what we at ProInsight are working to do to really differentiate ourselves, really by helping to differentiate you. You see, when you can take high trust relationships and connect that to unique predictive property data together with AI, now you can begin to come to customers with solutions and pathways that are necessary for their best life without them necessarily even know that they need that. You see, much of the professional service industry is really focused on building personal relationships with their clients, hoping that when their clients recognize they have a need, they'll reach out and ask for help. I would say that's not proactive, that's actually reactive. That's kind of waiting for people to show up at your Blockbuster store and choose what videos so that you know which videos to get more in stock. That's not what we're talking about. The Netflix way is to actually gather the data in advance and feed it to people based on what you know about them. That's exactly what our deep dive product within the ProInsight platform does. You see, we gather predictive property data, couple that with AI, as I mentioned, and then we feed up to the property owner the solution that they don't know they need yet. But yet when they see it, they're super grateful for you. You've actually brought it to their attention because they wouldn't have known to ask you about that. So again, how does this directly apply to you? The reality is, what I'm telling you here is don't be a Blockbuster. Just because clients have always wanted that or because they think that's what they want, it doesn't mean that's what they actually want, right? When you can really begin to observe data trends based on what they do by you observing their habits, as well as gathering data about them that they don't necessarily even know that you have, not in a creepy, snoopy way, but in a way that really allows you to serve them and take care of them with needs that they don't realize that they actually need. And in short, the key point is if you miss the data, you miss the opportunity. It's Blockbuster 2.0. You don't want to do that. You can't do that. There's no time for that. Your clients need you. They need you to not just be a reactive professional. They need you to be a proactive fiduciary, looking out for their best interests right now. Now, if you're ready to ditch the late fees of outdated thinking, down in the show notes, you'll see a link to learn more about ProInsight and how we can help you. And whether or not ProInsight is the right fit for you, I would encourage you to take these principles and apply them in your business. Again, don't get stuck in old ways of thinking. Use behavioral insights, use key data, and meet your customers where they don't even know that they need to be met yet. Remember this, at ProInsight, we're here to help you serve your clients smarter, not harder. So let's go build the future together.